My name is Andy RETI. I am a very young child Holocaust survivor, and I was together with my mother in the Budapest ghetto. Hungary lost 600,000 Jews, and the fact that I survived with my mother was strictly to the incredible courage and resilience of my mother and grandmother. My mother was so much in love with my father that when we were taken out of our home at the end of a gun, she decided to hide this ring, even though it was almost like a death sentence had she been caught. Because when we were taken out of our home and we were taken to a destination that at the time we had no idea where we were being taken to, we were collectively stopped and robbed of every piece of valuable. My mother hid this wedding band in my diaper. So this ring had seen its share of poo-poo over the years, and in some European custom, when you touch poo-poo, it's supposed to bring you good luck. And it did, a number of times. So why would anybody hate me? What have I done? Why was I declared ein Leben nicht wertig, a life not worthwhile living, before I was even born? Why? What did I do to anybody? Oh, wait a minute, I know. I was the son of a Jew and a Jewess. I was a product of two people who loved each other, who loved life. And for that, I have to be singled out? Well, who was this little madman, Mr. H with a small h, who declared that Deutschland über alles, Germany over all others? No, we're all equal. I am just as good as any one of those others. So, racial superiority, racial inferiority, it's man-made. We're all equal. October 15, 1944. By that time, both my father and grandfather were taken away to a forced labor battalion of the Hungarian army, and my mother, grandmother, and I were home. And by that time, the Hungarian Jews knew what was going all around them. By that time, we knew what our fate could be or will be. We were taken out of our home at gunpoint. Then I told you what happened with as we were taken. We had no idea where we were going. Eventually, we ended up in an open-air racetrack, and we were kept there for 2 nights and 3 days. In the middle of the night, on October 18, the loudspeaker comes on, the lights come on, and it says, "You can all go home now." Well, as we were leaving, the good Nazis were shooting at women and children and old people in the back. People on either side of us were murdered, but miraculously we survived. So naturally we have only one place to go, back where we came from, our home. We were there for only 2 more days when it happened again. We were rounded up once more, and this time we were taken to the ghetto. The ghetto was a very similar structure or apartment building where we actually lived, but it had a different address. It was designed for no more than 600 people. 3,000 people were crowded in there. We were given a 2-room apartment. We had to share this with 27 other people. Out of these 27 people, 7 were children under the age of 7. My mother was together with her best friend, who had a little daughter, a few months older than I, and the 2 mothers were able to get a fold-out couch, and the 2 babies were between the 2 mothers, and the two babies were sleeping, their feet touching. Interestingly enough, this is one of my first personal recollection of the Holocaust, because my little friend Katie had the coldest feet in the universe. My mother and my grandmother cannot be separated because they complemented each other. My grandmother behaved incredibly courageous. Originally, when we were forced into the ghetto, we were still able to get provisions. Eventually, of course, we could not. My grandmother had a little canister of flour, and she made a little biscuit, no bigger than the palm of my hand. And she would not take a bite out of that little biscuit. It was for Ibi, my mother, and Andy, me. And when my mother begged her to take, she said, "What am I going to tell Zolti when he comes home? That I did not take care of you." My grandfather was able to escape from his forced labor battalion. He found us. In fact, he was able to find us in the ghetto, and we were liberated on January 18, 1945, the four of us together. It took us months to find out that my father was murdered and he'll never come back. Life after the Holocaust was not easy for anybody. And my grandparents and my mother were working. I was a latchkey kid. I literally had the key around a string on my neck. Look what hatred has done. Look what we are experiencing today with the resurgence of hatred. How can we eliminate? And the only way to eliminate this is by teaching understanding and tolerance. It's almost like the essence of Judaism, light unto the nations.